Good evening, everyone. Now, before we get going this evening, I would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Abagua Mi'kmaq First Nations peoples. And as a community, we recognize the ever-present systemic inequities that stem directly from past wrongdoings. And we commit ourselves indefinitely to respecting and reconciling this long history of injustice. We will call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. The first, and I will pull up the agenda so that we can all see that. So here is the agenda for January 24th, 2021. I see that there are a couple of folks having some Zoom issues on their computer. No worries, just join us as you can. So that we've called to order, I will be looking for a motion for approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion for approval of tonight's agenda? I see Adam.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I move that tonight's agenda now be approved.
Great, thank you very much for that motion, Adam. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please? Seconded by Jessica, our Senate rep. Adam, would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, would anyone like to speak to that motion? Meaning, are there any changes for tonight's agenda? A final call for any changes for tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we will move to a vote using the poll function. All in favor of approval of the agenda as presented, all opposed, and those who wish to abstain. That motion has carried. We will now move on to the agenda. The next item on the agenda for this evening is approval of the minutes from the January 10th, 2021 meeting. Can I get a motion for that, please? I see Tolu.
Thank you, Chair. I would like the minutes for January 10th to be approved.
Thank you very much. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please? Seconded by Adam. Would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to that motion? So any edits to the minutes as presented? A final chance for any edits to those minutes. Seeing no one, we will again move to a vote. All in favor, all opposed, those who wish to abstain. Note that if you were not present at the meeting, you should note that you would like to abstain. Please indicate your name in the chat box so that our deputy chair can record that in our minutes. So I see Sam and Nellie in the chat box. I see Laura, and I see Mackenzie, and I see Bray. So that's 5 abstentions and 5 names. That's great, folks. That motion has carried. We'll now move on to the next item on our agenda for this evening. I'm noticing some folks are getting booted out of Zoom and coming back in. I'm trying to continuously add you. We'll do the best we can with it. The next item on the agenda for this evening is notice of impeachment due to absence. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. There we go. So a notice of impeachment was served to the nursing representative as they had missed 4 meetings of council. For council's information, impeachment from the UPISU means immediate termination of your position with the UPISU, as well as a 2-year time bar on reapplication to work for the UPISU or be a counselor. It also prevents you from being a member of any society ratified under the UPISU for the next 2 years. In order to impeach a counselor, a 2/3 majority is required. So the arts representative, the nursing representative has elected to speak to you folks on this discussion tonight. I will open the floor to the nursing representative.
Hi there, thank you for that. Okay, I would like to state that I did not receive the email regarding the nursing email and password for me to know that the meetings would be shared there. And I did mention that to Ashley, and I told her that I didn't know that I would be given a separate email address. She did mention that she had sent it to me, and I went back and I checked all my emails and I never received any. Therefore, I missed the last 2 consecutive meetings, which was discussed about. And then there was the other 2, which I told her was due to my grandfather passing due to COVID, and I couldn't attend as I wasn't really emotionally in a well place, and I was attending funeral, and I was really busy with my studies and other things. Therefore, I wanted to object to that impeachment. But that is everything from me. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much for that, Amir. So just to clarify, Amir is asking that council refrain from impeaching him this evening, and he presented the grounds that there was good reason for the first 2 meetings to be missed, and then as for the email, the emails were sent. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how they weren't received, but I know UPI email servers can be complicated at times. So at this time, I will ask if there are any other counselors who wish to speak on this impeachment, and if not, we will move to a vote. I see Sam, the education rep.
Yeah, thought I'd just mention, I understand the issues with the counselor emails. They can be kind of finicky, and when you reset the password, like I had the same issue where I I forgot my password, and I missed the email for one of the meetings. So I can understand that predicament for sure.
Great, thank you, Sam. I see Malik.
Yeah, I just want to extend my condolences for your grandpa's passing.
Thanks, Malik. I see the first-year representative.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just have a question to the nursing representative, if that's okay.
Of course.
My question would be, if you, in the event that you were not impeached, are you planning on missing another meeting?
No, I do not. If I had known and had the information prior to the meetings, I wouldn't really miss it. But the only reason that I did miss it was because, again, I did not have access to the emails.
Okay, were there any other comments or questions at this time? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. Once again, using the polling function. Voting in favor would be in favor of impeachment. Voting opposed would be as being opposed to impeachment. As it is a fairly grave decision, it requires a 2/3 majority of council to pass. Sorry, folks. I see someone else is logged in as UPISU. I'm not sure if it's another executive. When you do that, the polling function stops. So from this point forward, we won't be able to use the polling function. So we'll actually be holding the vote using the raise hand function. So on the impeachment of the nursing rep, all in favor, please raise hand. All opposed, please raise hand. Any abstentions? Please indicate so using the raise hand function. If you wish to abstain, please keep your hand up right now. I know there's some transfer in between. Seeing none, the motion has failed. Therefore, the nursing rep will not be impeached. Moving forward, as the attendance has been hit for attendance, if the nursing rep were to miss another meeting, we would be back at the impeachment conversation again. So now that we've moved on with that, we can move on to a more pleasant part of our agenda for this evening. And we will get into our reports. I'll open the floor to the president first.
Thank you so much, Chair. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I see that school has started, and I hope the first 2 weeks of school was awesome. So I'm sharing my screen, and I guess you guys can see my screen. So my report for this week, from January 11th, when school started, to the 22nd, that was on Friday. My report is divided into internal, external, and general. So I'll not be talking about everything because I had a bunch of meetings this week. I'm just going to be talking about the results. One thing, so from the external part, I sit on the National Advocacy Committee of CASA, that is the Canadian Alliance of Students Association. And like I mentioned, we are running a campaign called #CloseTheGaps. This campaign will launch on the 27th of January. That should be Wednesday from my calendar. Yes. So it's going to launch on Wednesday, and we have 2 phases to this campaign. So the first phase is for students to give feedback and give input on how they were affected this period, during the COVID period. Just a little context, when the government gave out the CSSG, that is the Canada Student Service Grant, that was in $912 million for students that were going to volunteer to assist in being the COVID response team, and in being to assist with the COVID response team. So the money didn't go through because of a scandal. I don't know how many of us know about that, but there were complications and issues to that. So whatever way COVID has affected you, and you know that the government didn't really go through for students, or how the government didn't really come through for you, still we need your feedback on this for the campaign, because we are asking the government to close the gaps and include students. Another reason why we named it Close the Gaps was because when the current government, that is the Liberal government, Trudeau's government, said the throne from the speech from the throne, sorry, they didn't include anything from students except when they were talking about entrepreneurship. And we need student feedback, and phase 2 of this is going over to policymakers and legislators to air student grievances. So I really look forward to you guys' response to this. Such just like the letter writing campaign that we're currently running. As of Friday, we had 105. As of the last time I asked Mark, we had 105 signatures, and I'm looking forward to students also giving their input in this campaign. It will be really lovely to hear your feedback and your grievances, so that we would know how to fully speak to the government about speak to the government about student issues. Also, some of you might be hearing that there's a likely possibility of another federal election soon because of the role of because of the government, the Trudeau government currently. There is a second likely possibility that we wouldn't be doing that because of the new development of the resignation of the Governor General Julie Payette. But we definitely had a meeting to prepare for a federal campaign to get out the vote from students. Then we did a little budget consultation. Oh yes, I and Malak attended a pre-budget meeting, the virtual town hall for Prince Edward. The government did a pre-budget consultation, and we were asking the government to invest a $50,000 into a multi-year OER fund. They funded 25,000 last year, or last year's 2019, and it ran through 2019 to 2020. It was just a pilot program, and it was all used up. So we are asking for double of that. So that's 50,000, and not just a one-year program, but an occurring year fund. Then we did a couple of interviews and meetings. Another thing I would love to go through, I guess you guys I had CASA call, EDI. Then I had a meeting with President Allah, and I spoke about student health card policy to begin to see results about one of our policy priorities this semester. And also I spoke about the method of fee payment. So currently some students came to me and they said back in their country, Western Union as a means to pay international fee is not currently going through because of some new policies the government have imposed. So I had to take it up to the school to make them aware of what was occurring with students. While in the meeting with President Allah, also we spoke about graduation and how things might look like this semester. One thing he mentioned was that there would definitely be a graduation from the way things are going, but they are not certain how it's going to look like, but they are planning actively with the Chief Public Health Office to make this a reality for both this year's graduates and last year's graduates. So one other update I would like to give is the building hours. Malak definitely briefed me about the building hours and what the two business rep brought about in council here, that they would like the building hours to be extended. I had a meeting with Jackie Podja, that's the Vice President of Finance and Administration. So facilities technically fall under her portfolio. So I met with her to discuss about the extension of building hours. She laid her concerns that she wouldn't want various buildings to be open because just in the case of a community spread of COVID-19, they wouldn't be able to trace where exactly this virus came from or who or where it started from. And she said it's not something the general public is asking for, so she wouldn't want to leave things open and not a lot of students are accessing it. But we definitely came to an agreement of an extension of the hours for the Murphy Center. So that's the student center. The student center is currently open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Then it's open 9 till 9 on Wednesdays and 11 on Thursdays. So what we came to an agreement with was we opened it till 9 from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday until 11 on Thursday. That's because of the tap takeover at the Fox and Crow. And I spoke with the two business rep and they said we can definitely work with it for now. The buildings are also open on weekends, 9 a.m. to 6, I believe that's the time. And they were really happy with the decision. And I went back to her and she said she's going to get back to facility management and see how to make things work. So as at where we are now, we are should I say, we're discussing with facility management to change the building hours. So you guys can access the Murphy Center till 9 on weekdays until probably 6 on weekends. I can definitely confirm the exact time and send it over to everyone. So I met with NIFT, and we also had an interview, or we had various interviews with the CRO. So the CRO position, it will soon be filled up. Also, I would just like to mention a couple of things that were in the news for the past 2 weeks. The government, most of us will have seen this, the government of Canada has made a postgraduate work permit and has made an open postgraduate work permit available to international students. So whoever or whichever international student postgraduate work permit has expired between January 30th, 2020 and November 27, 2021, or that those that's expired and will soon be expiring, they can apply for an 18-month open work permit. So this will allow them to work under any employer or just to work basically freely before, so they'll be able to fulfill the requirement for their postgraduate work permit. So they must have a few eligibility processes. They must have a postgraduate work permit that's expired between these dates, so January 20th, or their postgraduate work permit will expire within 4 months or less, within 4 months from the date they applied. Then they must still be within Canada, and they should also have a valid studies temporary status from their country, I believe that's it. So one other thing I'm really excited to mention is the Work and Study Hub, which is the Department of Economic, Tourism and Culture has made available to students and to everyone in the community. So a couple of times students will say when they were trying to do an exam, their Wi-Fi didn't allow them to do their Wi-Fi, to get through with their exams, but the government has made study hubs in remote areas with reliable Wi-Fi, so students can have access to these places. Please just make sure you check for the guidelines or if registration is needed. This is the link. I can just show you a couple of places where these study hubs are open. So they have one in Tignish, Albertine, O'Leary, Wellington, Bedque, Kensington, North Rustico, Grand Tracidi, I believe that, then St. Peter's Bay, Surrey, Murray Harbour, Carrigan, and Stanley Bridge. The times are here. This is the link. If you're a student and probably you just want to get out of the house one day when during a weekday, you can always access this building. They have really good Wi-Fi and are made available to students on the island. Please feel free to use these services. And yeah, that's everything about my report. Does anyone have any question?
Thank you very much for your report. Are there any questions for the president at this time? A final call for any questions for the president. Seeing none, we will move on. Again, thank you very much for your report. I'll now open the floor to the VPACs.
Hi, everyone. Just a second, trying to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So thank you for being here tonight, everyone. Here's my report for the past couple of weeks. So I sat on the library council, and here's the highlights from that. All library fines from the past have been basically taken out of the system. They took fines out of the system, and the library is basically trying to see where there is any oppression within the library, and they're trying to be more equitable. So they have taken out all library fines, and then moving forward, they have also committed to either eliminating certain fines or reducing most of the other ones. So that's great news. I met with Tulu and with Shannon Snow from the Experiential Ed Office to plan Stride and Advo training workshops, which will be coming up hopefully in March. And then I also sat on a meeting with the Open Education Resources Marketing Group with the Canadian Atlantic University Libraries and other VP externals and academics across Atlantic Canada to discuss how to market OERs to faculty, basically. The fun part is I met with AXCOM and we basically finished up everything for the letter writing campaign and the petition. Excuse me. And as of right now, we have over 1,000 letters signed and over 238 signatures on the petition. And the reason we have a lot of letters is because the way we formatted everything is that so one person can sign up to 15 letters. So we have around 117 signatures on the Google Forms with about an average of 10 letters signed per person. So amazing. I also helped 2 students with informal grievances that they came to me with. With regards to external, just the usual CASA work. And then with advocacy, I sat with Tulu on PEI budget consultations. So we attended a presentation, kind of presentation seminar thing, conference, and we presented to the Minister and Deputy Minister of Finance our asks for the pre-budget submission, which I will also be sharing with you folks further down in the agenda. And I also attached it to the report if you want to go and look at it. And we also ended up in a CBC PEI article, which is really good to see the UPISU on the news. And then for the campaign, the UPISU campaign for student loans, we're also looking at doing an educational video on student loans. So I contacted Trisha Martel, who's a policy coordinator at the Department of Education. I was looking for stats for the pre-budget submission on how many students were accessing student loans and how much it would cost to pause those. But I was also asking about the possibility of collaborating with the department on educational videos about student loans. So we're still talking about that. Had another interview with Jason Simmons from The Guardian, Tulu and I, and we also ended up in another article there. So again, the UPISU was in the news quite a lot these couple of weeks, which is good. About the feminine hygiene products, I followed up with the Interministerial's Women's Secretariat in the PEI government, and they are sending us about $1,000 worth of feminine hygiene products. They took my mailing address, like for the UPISU mailing address and my name as a contact person, and they said they will be sending them to us last week. They haven't, but I will be following up. And we're going to be place those in the supplies food banks. And the reason we're putting it in supplies and not necessarily around campus is because, you know, the buildings aren't necessarily being very accessed this year. And there have been issues in the past with putting them in different washrooms around the building. So as Tula has mentioned, the Murphy Center is the one with the most hours open and it's the most accessible to students right now. So we're putting it where it is most accessible to students. And then I also contacted different MLAs, informing them about our budget consultations and our campaign. And MLA Lynn Lund from the Green Party mentioned that she is willing to table the petition on our behalf in the PEI Legislative Assembly, which is huge for us. So if you can share the petition, share the letters, get a lot of signatures, that would be a lot for UPISU advocacy. And then actually a lot of students, including Jose and others, other people in the office brought up to me that the lights at University Avenue are always frozen. If you want to cross the street, when you press the button, like it's always frozen. So I contacted the mayor about it and he sent it to the manager of public works and they will be following up with me about that to see if we can get the lights fixed. And then, yeah, other meetings that we usually do. So executive committee. And then we also shot some videos about executive updates, basically, instead of AGM. And that's pretty much it from me, folks.
Great, thank you very much for your report. I see Jennifer has a question.
Oh, I just wanted to say I saw someone fixing the lights. Like I live in Browns and they unscrewed the light thing and they're trying to fix the button.
Well, that's a great show of how student action works. Is there anyone else who has any questions for our VPACs? A final call for any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your report, Malik, and we will move on. Next item on our agenda this evening is the VPSL's report. So Jose, floor is yours. Jose, you're muted.
Hi everybody. So pretty much my laptop issues will continue until I'm able to pay for tuition, which goes first. So please keep up with me, but this will be good and it'll be like my other reports. So let's start up. First, there is clubs and societies. A lot of stuff happening in clubs and societies this couple of weeks, as this usually is the busiest time for clubs and societies at the beginning of every semester. We had the second orientation, which was to catch up clubs who ratified later and missed the first orientation we did in the fall. And then we had 2 workshops for them. One was being an executive and their mental health supports that they can access in case it's becoming like a lot of work. And also UPSU services and how different groups can benefit from them when they're running clubs for BP Finance. We updated how programming for clubs will continue for the rest of the semester based on the feedback that we got from the forum that we sent out. Mostly it was making a lot of things more optional because club executives are overwhelmed as it is with running clubs during a pandemic and also having schoolwork and stuff like that. And then I ratified the Bangladeshi Student Association and Young Adult Singles Ministry with UPISU as they are returning clubs. Then SAPS, which is like the AVC club, they had a broom bowl tournament happening yesterday. And we provided pizza and snacks for them at Macmillan Hall. So I helped with that at night. And then SAPS has really been coming through in terms of like working with me to plan the events for the semester, mainly because AVC students are usually fairly busy. So they find it easier for them to just provide me with ideas and let the planning to me. And that's fair because they are super busy. So they're gonna have a skate day, pots and paints, then a trivia, and I put not an open mic because we're not allowed to have events called open mics with COVID. That's like a rule of the province. So we're thinking about what type of open mic, not called open mic event we're gonna have. And then we launched a UPISU Clubs and Societies Instagram account. It's at UPISU CLSO. I recommend all of you to follow the account if you haven't, just because it will keep you updated basically on everything clubs. So from what they're doing to what are the benefits to et cetera, and it's gonna be run by the Club Societies coordinator now and also in future years. And then for a lot of my things in my report, I won't go super in depth in them just because I made some agenda points based on them. So I'll just go through them really quickly. I planned or have a basic structure for the events we're gonna have for Black History Month. I'm working on those with our team, but also the Black Culture Society of PEI, BIPOC Usher, and some other folks around campus. And then I'm also gonna update you on that later, but we're gonna have a Who's Your UPISU campaign starting tomorrow. The main difference with this campaign compared to others we've done for the past semester is that it's gonna be fully online. And even if it's fully online, it's not gonna be on Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that. It's gonna be fully on Instagram and Instagram TV. And we're hoping that more students will tune in because hopefully using Instagram doesn't cause as much fatigue as having to log in after class and stuff like that. So I'll go through that later. Then I'm planning the events for Love and Sex Week. This year is gonna be, I don't want to say lackluster, but it's going to be smaller than in previous years. Love and Sex Week usually gets a super big spotlight compared to any other campaign or event series hosted by the BPSL. However, this year, the efforts of my office are kind of divided more fairly between this and Black History Month. So that's why it's a little bit smaller than usual. And also a lot of the external organizations that usually partner with the UPISU for this campaign currently do not have enough staffing available because of COVID-19, that a lot of people were laid off. And so basically, it's still gonna be great, still gonna be awesome. We still have events and workshops, but if you're a student who's maybe in their third or fourth year or something like that, you might notice that it's not as big as other years, and that's the main reason. I work on the first weeks of the semester on the UPISU video game co-op launch. Again, I'll be kind of going through that in the agenda points. I work with some volunteers to put resource posters and handbooks from the UPISU around campus, mainly because this semester we have all buildings open, unlike last semester. So now that we know students might be walking around, who knows, because campus still looks fairly empty sometimes. Hopefully if students walk around, they'll be able to look at our resources now that literally every single building in the map is covered. I met with the Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee. So we basically just discussed gas leaks, breaking glass, people falling off stairs, stuff like that. And then I had my first meeting with the Event Planning and Implementation Committee, EPIC. Thank you all counselors who are part of the committee. If you showed up to the meeting, basically we just discussed what type of events they would like to see for those campaigns and events that I'm having, and also what can we do in terms of making them more inclusive, what ideas do we have, how to make them more accessible and stuff like that. Really happy with how the committee meeting went, and I did get a bunch of ideas from them, so really happy that the committee is happening. The grab and go resource kiosk is now officially kind of like ready to go. Before it was being used, but it was not like super ready, but now it has like the banner app, it's fully restocked. Particularly, I've noticed that the Academic Appeal, Student Life, and Club Societies handbooks do tend to go fairly quick. So students are definitely taking them. The other one that's popular is the mental health resources, because we got those from the UPSU, but also from PI Mental Health. They gave us some brochures that we could put up there. We have our executive meetings. I've been working with some students who want to start a podcast that would be funded by the UPSU, but we're still kind of seeing what's the situation there. I'm working with the BP Finance and Clubs Coordinator on that. We continue to give gifts from the 5 days of cheer wish list because some students were out of province or are in isolation. And then I assisted some of you with executive initiatives. If you haven't started thinking about your executive initiative or need help or anything with planning, be sure to contact me. And just other stuff that's not really super important. So yay, that's me. We'll go more in depth into all the other deets of the events and campaigns in the agenda points. But does anybody have any questions?
Thanks for your report, Jose. Are there any questions for the VPSL at this time? A final chance for any questions. Seeing none, again, thank you for your report. I'll just take this time to touch on counselor initiatives. Counselor initiatives are the chance for counselors to host an event, to interact with their constituents. So there is a budget line associated with this. Each counselor has the ability to obtain $100 to host some type of an event, and the VPSL has graciously offered to help folks. So if you are interested in hosting any of those events, please do reach out to him. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda for this evening, which is the VP Finance and Administration's report. So Yumikan, floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm just going to quickly share my screen here. Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to go over my report of the things I did from January 10th to January 24th. And yeah, so first of all, we had funding committee. So I and funding committee met to go over the funding of December, and most of the applications were approved, aside the ones that needed to be reached out to have some clarifications, which we'll be addressing in the February funding committee meeting. Also, budget committee, we met to go over the budget and look at the various items that needed to be changed for our upcoming budget, the 2021/2022 budget. So we reviewed the current budget and just saw some things that we could change, add, increase, or decrease. And just a side note, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to me and we could all discuss it together at our next budget committee meeting. Also, I helped out with clubs orientation. So I had clubs orientation with coordinator Lina and VPSL Jose to go over the various services offered by the UPI Student Union and how clubs and societies can make use of the services to help better their club. Also, regarding the emergency fund, so I and the executive team reviewed the new batch of emergency fund, and so far a total from December up until now we've had about 122 applications, so this is quite good. And just a side note, this huge number is as a result of the December when people lost their jobs, so there was a huge number of applications. Now we have an average of about 8 to 15 applications bi-weekly. So I also met with Bernie to go over the distribution of the new set of vouchers that we received. So instead of just selecting a couple of number of students, we decided to give all students that applied, which was a total of 50 students. So each student got a $100 voucher to shop at the local farmers markets. Also moving on to supplies, supplies has been, we need a new system for the supplies because students are kind of taking more than needed and it's kind of affecting other students that may be in need, and also looking for more foods that provide students with more nutritional content. So I'll be meeting with the dietitian from Superstore to go over things that we could include in our current supplies. Also, I met with our general manager to review the May to December Fox and Crow profits and loss, and we are pretty much within the what we budgeted for. So we budgeted for a loss of about $90-something thousand, but we are currently on a $39,000 loss. It's quite sad, and this is as a result of COVID-19, but as a result of the events that they're hosting and all, it's also helping to bring little revenue to the Fox and Crow. Also, the Panther Patrol has been having a normal usage of about an average of 5 students per day, and most students are using it for isolation drop-off after they finish their isolation, using it to go back to their residence or their house. It has also been really helpful for both our own, the UPI SU Food Bank, as well as the Chaplaincy Center Food Bank, to go pick up and drop off supplies. So also we all did the UPI SU video update, as well as the services Instagram takeover, to just answer a couple of questions that students may have regarding services that we offer at the UPI SU. We also met for executive meeting with the executive team. I'll just quickly go over the mental health and wellness office report. So we had our check-in to go over what project she's working on and projects that will be coming up in the future. So in regarding the light therapy program, the light therapy lamp, there has been a huge usage of it, and all the 10 lamps have been checked out. So she was discussing with the librarians about decreasing the days from 28 days to 14 days because more students would have access to it if it's that way. So they're looking into that. So instead of it to be checked out for 28 days, it will be checked out for 14 days now. Also, though, she had a workshop in collaboration with Accessibility Service. So there was about 22 people in attendance, which is really good. Also, January 22nd, the Instagram account had about 291 followers, and she's currently running a contest for students to win a $50 to increase the followership of the mental health and wellness Instagram page. Also, she had workshop in collaboration with CMHA on January 19 and had about 18 people registered, but 9 people in attendance. Also, we'll be having a workshop hosted by the BIPOC Usher called Falling Through the Cracks, basically being BIPOC and your mental health. So this would be hosted by the BIPOC Usher. This would be a workshop hosted next week. And that is my report. Does anyone have any question?
Thank you very much for your report. Are there any questions? I see Carrie.
Hi, Ayumi-kan. I just had one question about the food bank and something that you said. How do we know students are taking more than they need?
Because some students usually come there, the person working at Tim Hortons told us that some students just come with bags and just like clear out the food bank. So initially the food bank is supposed to be anonymous, so we really don't know. So we just dropped the food there, hoping in good faith. But she noticed that it has continuously been happening, especially during last semester. So that's why she reached out to us and she was like, oh, she thinks that we need to kind of change the system to see that not a particular group just clears it out so other people have the opportunity to get. So it was actually someone from Tim Hortons that reached out to us saying that she has noticed the same set of people clearing out the food bank.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see how that's a problem. Do you have any ideas about how we could resolve this in the future?
Yes, so I was discussing with the exec team and I was thinking of having hamper where students just apply through a Google form and we just create hampers, just get volunteers to help out with going to the groceries and creating hampers for students. And that's the one option that we have currently to see how things go over the next couple of weeks, and that would be the next option we'll go with.
Okay, thank you, Ayumi-kan.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the VP Finance? A final chance for any questions. Seeing none, again, thank you very much for your report, and we will now be moving on. The next item on the agenda for this evening is the Senate report. I'm not quite sure who's giving the Senate report. Oh, I see Maggie.
Hi, this is me and Jen and Rob is in the back. But Senate hasn't met since our last council meeting, so there is nothing to report.
Thank you very much for your report. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the Board of Governors report. Has there been a Board of Governors meeting since the last council meeting?
Hello everyone. No, since the last council meeting, there hasn't been any Board of Governors meeting, so there's nothing to report here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Akshay. That now concludes reports. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda, which is the pre-budget submission. And for that, I will open the floor to the VPACs.
Thank you, Ashley. Okay, I'm trying to share my screen again, just a second. Okay, so I just wanted to show you folks what we presented to the minister and to the deputy minister. It was a PowerPoint presentation version of this doc, but we also submitted this doc to the government as part of the pre-budget submissions. So for the pre-budget submissions, we have 2 asks. One of them is a multi-year fund for OERs. So last year, and OERs are basically open textbooks, which are free textbooks or any kind of education resources. Last year, the Department of Education invested $25,000, but it was a one-time fund into the OER development program that is run by the Robertson Library, and that was based on SU advocacy. So this year, we're asking for $50,000 just because the fund got used up all in one year. We're asking for $50,000 as a multi-year fund, so not just like a one-time thing. We're asking for this repeatedly. And this basically saves so many students so much money. And we also got a report from the library on how the funds were used. So the funds were used to create 8 new open education resources and the adaptation of 4 others. So you can create a resource, adapt an already existing one, review an already existing one. There's so many like things within the program, and then different things cost different kinds of money. So 1,175 UPI students benefited out of this, and the fund was like almost 100% gone. So that's our first ask. And then the second ask is the expansion of the moratorium on provincial student loans from April to September of this year. And it's also why we're writing the letters for the campaign, as well as the petition that's going to be tabled, hopefully, in the House. But we also included in the pre-budget ask because it's going to cost the government some money in this upcoming budget. And we also included stats about what the government of Canada has done, when this was brought up at the House, and what the minister's response was, and information from the pre-budget presentations that we attended that the deputy minister gave, which they said that the PEI GDP went down by 4%, and they also cited lower revenues in HST because of it. So we're arguing that pausing payments of student loans means that people have more disposable income, which hopefully means more money flow into the economy. And that's basically it. So I just wanted to make sure that you folks are in the loop on this and what we asked for in the pre-budget submission.
Are there any questions for the VPACs on the pre-budget submission? A final chance for any questions on that. Seeing none, we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is a review of the February events, and I will open the floor to the VPSL for that.
Am I muted again?
No, you're unmuted.
Yay. Okay, so let's look at what's happening in February, which is really exciting with the UPSU. So, oops, okay, perfect. So first, as mentioned before, we're gonna have a bunch of Black History Month events happening. Again, we're collaborating and mainly providing a support role to the Black Cultural Society or BIPOC Corsair or other departments on campus, but I'm working with some of the current working students on campus who are leaders per se, so who identify themselves as Black. So our International Body Program Coordinator, some of the RLAs, etc. We're working together to put a workshop that is about why is it important to have Black students in leadership student positions around campus, which is going to happen in February 2nd or 4th. And then we have Black History Month trivia happening on February 3rd. It's gonna be hosted by the one and only Miss Tululope Ogini, your president. So be sure to drop by and support. Tulu is nervous because it's for her first time hosting a trivia, but I know she'll do amazing. We're seeing if we partner up with Holland College for that event to get some extra students to come. And then I'm working with the International Students Office to offer a kind of adjusted version of the Rants and Raves events that I did last semester. But this time it'll be a rants and reading. Okay, I think I miswrote that, but it's like rants and reading poetry and pieces of writing by Black authors night, and it's gonna happen on February 23rd. And then we're working with the Black Culture Society to host a panel discussion, which the topic is listen, learn, share, and act, which is basically, from what I understand, it's kind of like when you encounter racism, what can you do to fix the situation or diffuse the situation and make it better and educate others and stuff like that. Followed by a music event as a tap takeover by a local Black artist, Kira Celeste. She's an amazing singer, and if you can make it and show support, it would be great. And then I'm working on some projects with the Robertson Library. All the best people there is Yolanda, and she is awesome, and she wants to do a movie showing. We haven't decided which movie, but she'll get back to me on that. So there's gonna be a movie night at one point, and also the International Students Office and Yolanda both want to start a book club that focuses on reading books written by Black authors and stuff. And we're discussing how that's going to work, or what's going to be the system, whether it's going to be an official club under the UPISU, who's going to run it, etc., etc. But in case that it happens, which I think it will based on our discussion last week, I recommend any of you who have the time to join. And then those events are happening on the 1st and the 4th week of February. Then, as we know, the 3rd week is February break. Whoop, whoop. Take a break, take it easy, relax, do your assignments, etc. But then on the 2nd week, we have Love and Sex Week, which is from February 8th to the 12th. So I broke it down between events and workshops because Love and Sex Week usually has a lot of collaborations with other departments on campus, and there's a lot more people kind of jumping in to work with us compared to other campaigns. But right now, what I have planned is for events, a do-it-yourself Valentine cards, gifts, and treats workshop happening on February 8th. So make a gift for your boo or your friend or anybody, yourself. And then we have Love and Sex Bingo happening the next day. Usually that involves sex toys and stuff, and it's lots of fun. I reviewed the feedback form left behind by the previous BPSL, which is sent out after Love and Sex Week to students. A big concern that students had was that sometimes instead of having to choose from the prices offered in terms of sex toys to students, they would rather get like a gift card just because that way they can go and get what they want specifically. And also it can be more like private. So I'll be getting a mixture of sex toys and gift cards, and hopefully students will be just as excited as always. Then we have Love and Sex Trivia hosted the Fox and Crow like always. I've been working with some local drag artists and our Senate rep. We're gonna be having a drag show happening on the Friday of that week. Currently, I'm still working with the bar manager to set everything up, but it seems like it's ready to go in terms of the artists being set to do the thing. And I'm super excited for it. And we're starting at 7 p.m., 7:30, because something that was pointed out, and it's true, is that since the Fox and Crow can only have minors up to 9 p.m., we wanted to give the opportunities to students who are under 19 to still be able to enjoy and participate in this event. So we're going to start early, and thank you to your Senate rep for pointing that out to me. That's a really good point. And then, so your UPISU Cupid requests. Ooh, what's that? So basically what happened was that the wish list for the 5 days of cheer was one of the most, I want to say, successful initiatives that my office has held this semester. It had a lot of students excited. They were really happy when they got their gifts. Also, students who didn't get to sign up, they were kind of disappointed, and they were hoping that something like this would also happen soon. Again, we're all struggling economically because of COVID, but we still want to have a nice Valentine's, etc. So I think we're gonna repeat the idea, but it's gonna be more themed around Valentine's in terms of getting a gift that's kind of like self-care for you, or getting fancy dinner with your boo with a gift card provided by the UPISU. So I think we're gonna go and do that again. And then we have an event happening with the Campus Life Lounge. That's to be determined. So now for the workshops, we're gonna have one around queerness and dating in PEI, one about self-pleasure and masturbation, lust, and something when you have after you break up with someone, you're a mess. So here's what you have to do. And it's going to be, I'm going to work with the Board of Governors to host that one. So that's exciting. And then, sorry, folks, my glasses are fogging up. We have rejection, toxic relationships, and negative patterns of behavior. That's going to be me and Eileen Convoy, our SV Pro. Then with the International Students Office, we're working on a first time dating in PI, etiquette and experiences, just because sometimes dating for international students when they come here can get rough because how you approach people and how you talk to people is different in different countries. And there's some fun experiences that happen, including to myself. So that'll be a fun workshop. And then we're gonna have, I'm working with residents to see if we can host having a residence boo workshop with the RLAs, just because having a relationship with residents can sometimes get rough and it can be messy, and you share rooms with other students and all the students are around you. So that's why. And then the Health and Wellness Center is having their usual STI and healthy safe sex practice sessions, and we're gonna be supporting them there. So does anybody have any suggestions, any questions, any comments, anything they would like to see, anything they would not like to see? The floor is yours.
I see Malik.
I just want to say I love the International Student Office idea. I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, it gets rough.
Are there any other questions, comments, suggestions for the VPSL on 11 Sex Week? I don't see any right now. I'm sure Jose would be happy to take them in email format if anyone would like to reach out. Floor is yours again, Jose.
And also remember that you can always volunteer to help me out with these events. You can help me put these workshops together. You can co-host with me. That's important for you to get your full counselor compensation. And it's also lots of fun. You get to spend time with me. Yay. I was gonna update you folks on basically this campaign that we're having this week, which is Who's Your UPISU? So the reason why we're having this new campaign is because when elections hit with the student union, students usually have no idea what's happening, and they're not really updated on who the SU is, what we do and stuff. So I thought that having this the week before nominations start would work to encourage students to run for positions and be excited and maybe vote more or maybe care more. And the reason why advertisement for it has been kind of low was because since everything is going to be through Instagram TV, the students who follow the UPISU are going to get notifications every single time we go online. So we don't want to like I guess like push the idea too hard to students. However, something that I sent an email to all of you and I would appreciate is that during this week, we're gonna have all those videos happening, of course, but you guys are also a big part of the student union and who we are and our direction and where we go. And also students are gonna be running for your positions and taking over them for next year. Well, if you decide to rerun, no, but otherwise, yes. Oh no, but elections will still be happening. Anyways, I sent an email asking all of you if you could take a quick 1 minute portrait video style thing where you kind of just say like, hey, my name is da 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 da. I do this position on Council of the Student Union, and this is what I enjoyed about being on council, or this is what I learned, or this is why it was cool. And I think you should run for elections happening this date, this date. So if you could put that together for me, I would appreciate it a lot. You just need to put that 1 video minute together and send it to me at my email. That would be great, and it would be a great way to get your face on campus. Anyways, going more in depth with it. So every day is broken up based on our roles or something along those lines. So on Monday, we have President Day, who is Miss Tululope Ogini. So she's gonna have her President AGM be released, which is basically gonna be an update on everything an executive has done and where are they going for the rest of their term. We're gonna have who is your policy and research coordinator, which again is gonna be Miss Ogini, because she was the one who was our policy and research coordinator. So she's gonna update students on her role, what is it, and why people should apply for that job position. And then she's gonna have a workshop around the importance of having student representation in university level committees. And then the Tuesday is BPAC's day. So Malak will have her AGM style video. Anaga, who's our academic coordinator, will be presenting her job, what it is, why students should apply. And then they'll have a quick workshops on how appeals work and what to do, when do you do them, etc. Then I will have BPSL day. Yay, exciting Wednesday. So I'll have my AGM video. Heads up, mine is the longest, so prepare to hear me japping for minutes. And then Lena will have her clubs and societies coordinator video, explaining who she is, what she does, etc. And we'll have 2 workshops, one surrounding clubs and societies and everything they are, and then another one of why is it important to basically get involved on campus and assist to different things and volunteering for different projects. Then we have our BP Finance Day, which is going to be video AGM, BP Finance, a Yumikon, stunning. And then we're going to have a workshop with Kali, where she does the same shtick. And then we're going to have 2 workshops, one surrounding UPISU services, so students understand how they can make the most of their fees that they pay to the student union, and one with Kali about what mental health supports we offered. So for any of you who send me your videos, you'll be appearing on Friday, which will be the counselor Instagram takeover, or that's at least what I have planned. So your videos will be popping up through the day and people will be like, oh my God, so cool. Oh my God, so cute. So be sure to make your videos and send them to me. And we'll have 2 workshops. One of them is gonna be, oh no, both of them are gonna be hosted by me. The first one is tips and bits for running for elections. If you didn't know, I was previously as the CRO, so I kind of have a knowledge of how this whole shtick works. And then everything you need to be, everything you need to know if you want to be part of the UPSU, which is just like an overall review of our collective experiences here at the UPSU. So that's it for that Who's Your UPSU campaign. Before I go into my update on the video game co-op, does anybody have any questions about that? Or suggestions, or excited for making your video? Ashley, you're also welcome to make one.
Thanks, Jose. Are there any questions for the VPSL? Seeing none, we'll get you to move on to your review of the video game co-op.
Okay, thank you. Folks, please send the video. It's a 1-minute video of your face, and I really want to showcase you guys on campus. So let's keep going. Oops. And this fairly quickly. So a big part of my first 2 weeks was working on the video game co-op, the lunch, the videos, the drama. It was great. So basically, we had an interview with the cadre and that went out. We had an interview with the Guardian and that's going out next week. And then we did the PR launch and we had some Instagram takeover videos explaining the things. And I also work on gaming kits, which basically similar to my event kits is just like an easier way for students to carry and take the things and have everything in one concise space. The update that's important to you folks is that since the launch, we had basically 11 applications. And since we only have 3 video game consoles at the time, 1 more is coming. It's pretty much happening and all of them got rent out and success, yay. So hopefully the more students get to realize these services here and it keeps happening and stuff and people keep renting them out, the more applications we'll get and we'll continue advertisement. But it seems like the service itself is having use because all of them have been like applied to be rent out. And yeah, I might invest a little bit more of my funding in this since it seems to have worked. But of course, I'll be reviewing that with the executive team. So does anybody have any questions about how the video game co-op is going? Or maybe you want to use the video game co-op?
Any questions for the VPSL on the video game co-op? Seeing none, we will move on in our agenda. Congratulations on your 11 applications, Jose.
Yay.
The next item on the agenda for this evening is 2,000 plus expenditures. Are there any 2,000 plus expenditures to report, Ayumikan?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay, great. The floor is yours.
I'll just try to share my screen. Okay, so I'll just quickly go over the 2000 plus expenditures. These are basically all the expenses that was spent in the UPI SU that were over $2,000. Starting from November, since that's the last time I brought the 2000 plus expenditures, we had the RRSP for staff, basically paying for their retirement savings. We also have the credit card payments for the various staff. That's the Fox and Crow manager, the administrative manager, and the general manager. So we have that. That's where we see the RBC visa and CIBC visa payments. We also have the payment for the campus trust payout, basically paying for the insurance in November. We also have the UPI monthly payment. So this is the monthly payments we have to pay to the university for our building expenses. We also have the HST payment to CRA for the taxing of the various employees. We also have the payment to Arsenal's Best. That is our account, the auditors, our accounting auditors. So we also have that payment. We also have the vacuum, which is a Fox and Crow expenses. We have $2,283.90 payment for that. We also have the Panther Patrol insurance payment for the Panther Patrol van. We have a $2,288 payment for that. For the COVID-19 loan repayment. So basically when COVID-19 hit, the organization took advantage of a loan program that the government was offering. So we were paying that back to the government in November. Also, we have the December payment for the campus trust for students. We also have our payment to volume 18. This was the staff training that all executive staffs did. So we have a $6,095 payment for that. In December, we also paid for the credit card for the various managers, and we have the $3,715 for the RBC, and also $3,874 for the RBC again, and we have one for the CIBC payments. Also, we have our UPI monthly payment for December, which was $41,764.99, and basically our payments to the university for the building. We also have our student union general insurance, that was $22,362.63. We also have the payout by our administrative manager, which was $2,183.08. We also have the income tax payments to CRA, which was $8,734.37 and $12,223.09. We have our campus trust payment for January, which is $157.436. $157.436.15. We also have our CIBC payments and RBC payments, which is $5,043.13, and also $483.05. We also have our Hub International Ontario payments, which is basically the remaining insurance for the student SU general insurance, which was $2,221. We also have our UPI monthly payment for December, which is $18,238.46. And we have our T3 payments to the T3 bus transit of $134,000.
Great, thank you very much for your report. Are there any questions for the VP Finance on the 2000 plus expenditures? A final chance for any questions on any of those expenditures. Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you for your presentation, Yu McKim. The next item on the agenda for this evening is a discussion on lab fees. I will open the floor to Jennifer, the Senate rep, who requested this be added to the agenda this evening.
Hi, so I'm not going to talk for a while just because we've already had this discussion, I think, multiple times, but I just want to let you know that I'm going to send an email to Nola Etkin, who's the Dean of Science, and just to kind of see, like, I don't know if you'll even be able to get rid of, like, that's a huge thing to ask, but just see, like, where this money's going, why it's so necessary, why they need it for courses that are completely online. So I just need to get some, I was wondering if people like the science reps or other people that are in sciences that could, I know lots about chemistry, but I want to know more about like what's it like for a biology student, what are their labs like, or kin or nursing or computer science and math and physics and everything, because I don't know what all of those sciences are like and how their labs are going. And I'd like to be in, like, to speak on behalf of like all of the sciences, not just specifically chemistry. So I'm going to put my email out. So it's senate2@upeisu.ca. And you can just send me an email if you know someone in one of these courses or one of this degree, and they can kind of tell me what it's like in that and what their situation is.
Great, thanks. Are there any questions for Jennifer at this time?
Or anything you want to bring up and for me to tell Nola, or any points that you think would be good to say?
Jar.
Hello. I would just like to say I'm in biology major. So I'm in biology, chemistry, and physics right now. Currently, all of them are online. And I know for like biology specifically, we're supposed to have a rat dissection, which would take 3 weeks. But that's also online, so we don't get to do that. And we have to pay for it.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, just send me an email, like what the course is and like what, so just I know specific courses and like how exactly. And if you feel that you're missing out on things that you should know how to do at the end of your degree, that's another point I kind of want to say.
Okay, yeah. What email was it?
So it's senate2@upeisu.ca.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you want to share that email in the chat, Jennifer, that might help. I see the president. It's shared for you.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
So I'm not a science student, but can you just give me a little context to what you want to speak about?
Okay, so basically, if you're in sciences and you have a course that consists of a lab, you have to pay a $75 fee per class per lab. And then, so like for example, I'm in 3 labs, so I'm paying $225. And some of these labs are completely online on Moodle. Like you're not going into the lab at all. So we just want to know like where that money's going. Like we know they have to pay the TAs and they have to do this, but like the money they're saving on chemicals or resources and stuff like that, you think that they could maybe reduce the cost or get rid of it, but I don't know if they do that, but at least put the cost down for the courses that are completely online and there's absolutely no in person for it.
Okay, thank you.
I see Adam.
Hi, thank you, Chair. I have I paid for 2 lab fees for this semester, and I'm an engineering student. And one is for material science, which is completely asynchronous, including the labs, and then the other is for computer programming, which which has a lab section, but it isn't a lab. It's an extra help session. So, yeah, that's what's going on here.
Yeah, I took some computer science classes in first year and that's what I mean. You had to go directly into the lab in the math department. So I was wondering like for those types of courses, how are they doing online computer labs whenever it's not in person? So that's a good one.
I see the VPACs.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm very proud of you, Jennifer, for taking that initiative. And I just want to say like, yes. Because yeah, it's great. It's a great initiative, especially as a science student, that you're doing this on behalf of other students and making sure that students have a voice.
I see Jose.
Yep. Jennifer, I don't know if this kind of would fall in the same line of what you're doing, but well, I used to take a lot of biochem courses because science things, but also in some psychology courses we have labs sometimes. For the most part, they were always in person too. I don't know if you would call psychology labs like labs because we mostly just go and have like an extra discussion, but in a lab setting, but we don't really use any tools or anything. Well, at least for the ones that I did, but I know there are some, for example, for cognition and motivation and stuff where you actually train rats and do things with rats. So there might be some students in some of these courses in psychology and some artish more type of things where they also have lab fees for classes that might not be as in-depth as before. So you might just want to also scan out like what's the deal with those.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure what all consists of because like I said, I'm so in chemistry and I don't need to like why I want to know what everyone else is like too. And that's the point too. Like I've spent like being in chemistry and all those, I've spent over $2,000 on lab fees so far in my degree. So like that's a huge expense. And right now, like last semester, they were all completely online. And this semester, it's actually been, I'm grateful because we do have mostly in person this semester, but that's only because there's only 13 of us in the class. So for that, I'm like, yeah, I can pay the lab fee if you're half in person or not. But like, it's the fact that some courses are completely online and just using Moodle as their resources.
I see Jeremy.
If I recall correctly, this point was brought up at a previous meeting, and I believe Malik had looked into it and stated the arguments that I'm not sure if it was a department or in general for lab fees, but could those points be restated for information?
Yeah, I think Malik met with Jason Pearson, who is the first year teacher of the chemistry. So that was on an issue more like the first year chemistries were paying the lab fee and then another fee on top of that for the program they were using. So she was talking to him about that. But I'm going to go to Nola more for like, I feel like as the Dean of Science, she might have a little bit more power on and more knowledge on where exactly the fee is going and why exactly it's needed. But yeah, I've been talking to Malik about this too. So yeah.
Malik, did you wish to respond to Jeremy's point?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit more to that. So the meeting I had was mostly about the first year courses, specifically about a first year chem course. And I met with the chair of the chemistry department as well as the instructor of the course. And even though I can see how some of them like can, like some of the same points can be made again, I feel like coming from a science student, because I was struggling in that meeting not being a science student too, right? So I feel like coming from a science student and also that the conversations are going to be had with the Dean of Science, that it is a good avenue for more advocacy. And yeah, I definitely support Jennifer through this because something else that also adds more weight to the argument is one, she's a science student, but two, it's coming from a student directly, whereas, I mean, I'm a student too, but I'm an art student, so I'm coming as a SU representative, do you know what I mean? So I feel like having more than one voice is a good thing, not a bad thing at all.
Absolutely. Thanks for the points of clarity.
Great. Are there any further questions or comments for Jennifer on this topic? Seeing none, thank you very much for bringing it forward this evening, Jennifer. I think the request was that counselors email you with the course names and some more information, and that can go to the senate2@upeisu.ca email.
Yeah, and if you know someone that might be in some of the other ones like computer science and those courses, just send me the name and I'll just like find them on Facebook or maybe, because I have been reaching out to a few people that I know in other programs, but I haven't been able to get all of them yet.
Great, thank you very much. We will now move to the next item on the agenda for this evening, which is the CRO hiring board results. As the hiring board results are an HR manner, we will be going into camera to discuss this hiring. Can I get a motion to move into camera, please? I see Adam.
Thank you, Chair. I move that we move in camera.
Thank you for your motion, Adam. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please? Seconded by the business rep, Sam. Adam, would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Would anyone like to speak to that motion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. There is a poll live for you now. All in favor, all opposed, those who wish to abstain. Sorry, folks, on my end, I'm not seeing any responses come into the poll. Are you folks able to vote on your end? If someone could use the raise hand just to indicate, or Sam, I saw your mic go off.
Yeah, I was able to vote.
Okay.
I believe, yeah, I don't know what would be going on then.
Just as I am unable to see the results, we're going to have to move to voting with the use hand function. So all in favor of moving into camera? Thank you. All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and that motion has carried. We are now in camera. At this time, I would ask anyone who is not an elected member of the UPEISU Council to please leave the Zoom meeting. I will now be pausing the recording. So we have just moved out of camera. At this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring board results. I see Sam, the education rep.
Yes, I'd like to move a motion to approve the hiring board's decision.
Great, thank you very much. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please? Seconded by Akini, the business representative. Sam, would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to that motion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote, again using the raise hand function. All in favor of approval of the hiring board results? All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and that motion has carried. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda for this evening, which is society ratifications. VPSL, do we have any new society ratifications this evening?
Nope, there are none.
Great, thank you very much. That brings us to point 13 on the agenda, which is new business. So the floor is now open for any new business. I see the VPACs.
So just a little update with the letter writing campaign. Now that we have 1,000+ letters, we will be sending them all out on Tuesday. And I know Anaga, our academic coordinator, she has been incredible. She has been helping me out with all of it. But if I can, I'll show you guys how many letters we have, and we still haven't even printed half of them. And I'm just requesting any volunteer help because we need to send those out and put those all in envelopes. We still have a stack here that we need to fold, and we haven't even printed half of them. So any help you can provide, if you want to come to the office anytime on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be here. If you want to help us fold some letters and put them in envelopes, highly appreciated.
That volunteer opportunity would also count towards your counselor initiative. Your counselor compensation. I see a question in the chat. What time Monday? Malik, is there a preference on time?
I'm here, I'm going to say like 10 to 4.
Great, so lots of availability on Monday. I see Jennifer.
I was just wondering when we can like meet in person or how that like I don't know. Can we meet in person? Is that an option?
So unfortunately, it was pursued. So I had chatted with the general manager prior to her maternity leave, and she had contacted facilities management, and it was unfortunately not approved to have council moved in person.
Could we meet like off UPEI or is that not allowed?
I mean, it's something that could be investigated. That is a motion that could be made if it's something you'd like to have considered. I see the VPACs.
Yeah, don't quote me on this, but we had been discussing around the office the banquet, the student union banquet, and we were discussing if we're going to be able to have it in person this year, and we might be able to have it in person this year. It's not 100% yet. We were just discussing, but that could be a chance where we all get to meet in person sometime at the end of the year.
Jennifer, did you wish to follow up on any of that?
No, that's good. I know it's really hard because you'd have to rent space and all that too. So it wouldn't be maybe worth it. And we're all getting the hang of this too.
All the counselors are doing great with their Zoom. I think it's great. I also would love to see this happening in person, but I do understand that there are limitations. I see Malik.
Yes, I was just wondering, like, if, for example, having in-person council in very big air quotations functions similar to when I host any of my events, that I have like my COVID tracing forms and stuff like that. If there's like, I guess if there's another discussion around the office of having in-person something, I'm more than willing to help, but I also understand if it's not possible because of all the things that come into council in terms of the extra cameras, laptops, people who are not here, etc. But yeah, just wondering because, yeah.
Yeah, could it be as an organized event? Like I know you're allowed a cohort of like 50 people. Like I don't know how many altogether on council there is, but if you could do like an organized plan like they do for like ranks and stuff.
So the main issue with why council could not be happening in person was that currently during the hours that council is happening, the student center is closed, meaning that facilities management and security are not present. And that's why the university had opposed counselors being council happening in person during those hours. That is the last information that I had received on the topic. I'm happy to look into it again. I will do so and bring a report to the next council meeting. Are there any other counselors with new business for this evening? Seeing none, we will move to the next point of our agenda. Oh, I see Malik.
Yeah, I just wanted to, if there's a printer sound in the background, it's because Malik is working on leather stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to, again, I know I reminded you twice already, but please get those Instagram stories so we can make it part of the campaign and so students get to see your faces. Again, it's a 1-minute portrait mode video of yourself saying your position, who you are, why you like council, and encouraging students to run for council. I guess the other thing that I want to mention in relation to that is that since elections are happening in February, if any of you would be interested in kind of pursuing further work or stuff with the student union in terms of our executive roles, for example, you can always reach out to any of us to learn more about what we do, how it works, etc., what are the benefits, whatever, and we can give you our basically rundown of those in case you're interested in running in February. And also the same applies to our coordinator positions, so mental health and wellness officer, academic coordinator, clubs coordinator, and policy and research coordinator. All of them will be rehired in March. So again, if you March/September. But yeah, so if any of you are interested in working with the UPISU, I would recommend reaching to any of us soon so that you can learn more about the application process and all the quirks and stuff around it. It's fun, you get paid, it's awesome sometimes. Yay!
Thanks, Jose. Final chance for any new business. Seeing none, we'll move to the next point on the agenda, which is point 14, adjournment. At this time, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. I see Adam.
Thank you, Chair. I move that today's meeting now be adjourned.
Thank you for your motion. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please? Seconded by Sam, the education rep. Adam, would you like to speak to that motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Would anyone like to speak to that motion? Seeing no one, we will move to a vote using the raise hand function. All in favor of adjournment? All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and that motion has carried. We are officially adjourned at 7:43 p.m. I hope folks have a great week and see you at our next council meeting.
Yeah, have a great evening, everyone.